So let's start with this one. That's out of the way. So next week is pirates. Please don't forget if you guys want to critique. If you guys don't give me enough, I will not critique that day. If I don't get at least two pirates next week, I'm not doing a critique hour because I really want us to do this. I really want us to challenge ourselves and try something new. So I'm going to get the darken layer and I'm going to bring down all of this highlight you have here. Any excess highlights that are not on the face are taken away from the image completely. This means that the contrast is exclusive for one area, and that's pretty much the focal point that you want us to be looking at. So I'm rushing this darken layer over everything pretty much, and I'm going to erase away what I don't need. Erase away areas that I feel like need the highlight. So I'm darkening a lot. It's okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to do it a little bit on the face. What I'm going to do now is really roughly erase away where I know that where the light has access. So it's okay if it's a little messy because we're zoomed out. We're trying to deal with the large blocking in. The reason why we want to block in is because we want to get as much of the base shape as possible, meaning the base shape that's under all shapes, the base shape that controls the real form. So what is the basic shape that can summarize the whole head, the original polygon? And that is that kind of square-like cube of the head that is kind of spherical and domish at the very top near the cranium, and it gets more and more squared the more you get to the chin, and then you have the outer quarters looking out. So it looks a little something like this. So this would be the cube. Damn it. And then it kind of just becomes more and more circular. So it's kind of a sphere with a cube on the side if you look at it from 3/4 view. So that's why we block in. That's why we keep our brush large. If you don't keep your brush large, you can't deal with this on the large scope that it sits on. It's on a very wide scope. This whole the blocking in takes care of the larger objects. Oopsie. So now I'm going to get the eraser tool, and as I erase, I'm going to try to cast shadows. So the hair, casting a shadow. It's okay if it's too bright. I'll take care of it again. Areas of the hair that look up at the light are the only areas that get the highlight. So you see what happens is some areas of the hair overlap on each other, withholding some of the light. So this makes the hair feel a lot more three-dimensional if it has stuff standing in the way of it. Because how do you prove something is three-dimensional? You put something in front of it. If it's not visible anymore, if it's not visible, if you put something in front of it near the top, not in front of the camera, put something near the top, if it casts a shadow, lo and behold, that's three-dimensional. It means it's existing in an open space. So all I'm doing right now is trying to decide on the wide scope of darks that exist on this image. So any major highlights, and then I'll soften all of those areas that I blocked in, and I'm softening around the bulk that I originally designed when my brush was large. This means that you don't have to worry about it not looking three-dimensional anymore because you took care of all the really essential lights. One thing I recommend all the time about faces is please blur the edges of the lips. Even if she has a little bit of makeup on, it just feels really unnatural and really separated from the rest of the skin. If you don't have some kind of blur on the outer area of the lip. You have some asymmetry. The bottom of this eye is way lower than the bottom of this eye. You have this massive discrepancy. What you need to do is just align that a little bit. Filter, liquify. Just trying to align that in there. And one eye is kind of looking away because you tried to fit it in because there was hair there. And that was making it look really odd. What you've got to do is draw the eyes first. Make sure they're perfectly symmetrical in their gaze, and then draw the hair on top, or else you will overcompensate and you will make the hair look, you make the eye kind of fit through. So you see how much you tried to push that eye through? Oh, please eye fit. You know, the hair is there, but I really want to draw an eye, so I'm just going to draw the entirety of this area of the eye, despite the fact that there's something in the way of it. So before, after. See how bright it was? You don't really need all that brightness. And if you have to bring some of that brightness back down, you bring it only in the areas that need it. So start with the most reflective object in the room. That area gets the highest contrast. So her little steampunky thingamabobs over here. And then you've got those two objects on either side. They're just too bright. They have no highlights or any environmental changes on their value. They're just completely illuminated. It's like they're glowing. You don't want that at all. Alright. And then go on into the other areas that are the second most reflective. Hair is a little bit reflective. Take care of the shines on that. Remember, the shines on hair are bent and on a curve. You might want to bring a little bit more detail on this part of the hair here. And then lastly, you want to make the eyes a little bit more focal point-ish. This means that contrast is increased, detail is amplified, and everything is a step down in rendering, like rendering detail. Everything is one step down beneath it. And the hair, if it's surrounded by, if the face is surrounded by this much hair, it means that the face is emerging slowly out of that hair. So there will be areas of much, much darker cast shadow or darker value because they're right under a curtain of hair. So this area of the eye will be a little bit darker because of that curtain, this really thick layer of hair you have on it. Before, after, it's very important. Cast shadows are very, very important, very underrated. Before, after. And just keep working on it. Make sure your detail is not confusing from the detail here. This should be 100%, 80%, 70%. Nothing should be as 100% as this. So these little gears you have here, you might want to bring them down in detail a little bit. You might want to just like blur them out a little. They do not need this much focus. They should not be 1080p if the face is 720p. Same with the little lace and this other stuff. This little chain right here should be nowhere near as detailed. And detail doesn't have to be in how small you shrank your brush, Sarah. It can be in the fact that you are using a really, really hard edge that's really high contrast. Another way to create detail is to have high contrast and not blending edges. That creates severe detail. So that's also confusing away from the face as well. That little bit you had here. And if it does have something of a sharp detail on it, introduce it with some shades first, because it's a corset, so it's going to kind of ride up against the breast, creating a shadow, a cast shadow. And create that space in between the breasts as well. But you'll have to pick up a reference for that. I don't have time to sculpt breasts. They're way too... They take too much time. Alrighty. Before, after. Remember, your contrast climb represents the light a lot better. So, with this piece, I think you can go a level higher with the value. Just one level higher. And I'm using the background tone that you've chosen. And I'm kind of just going a level higher with that. And yeah, the nose is small, but it shouldn't be so small that it's completely moving away from its role, which is to protrude along the face. So this means that you've sacrificed a lot of the function of the face for the sake of the style. That's not good. Style is a harmony between function and abstraction. And you want to be able to show that this is at a really high 3D render quality. And that it does speak the language of realism a little bit. And this means that the nose and all these other areas, this cast shadow needs to be here. You guys forget to cast shadows for the hair on the face. Don't do that anymore. So her lips stick out a little bit. So we need a little bit of that upper lip, milk mustache. Connect. Again, please don't forget this. Connect the edges of the lip with the skin. Really important. Do not outline the lips in any way. If the Cupid's bow is exposed to the light, it's just going to get illuminated. There's no extra stuff needed. All you really need to do is throw that original shadow in and then just get the mid color of that Cupid's bow. And you kind of have a Cupid's bow after that. Just like this. I like how you kind of showed the bend in the nose. I'm not sure if you use 3D model under this and you paint over the 3D model. It kind of feels like you do because there are some areas that indicate that you've used it. If you do, please let me know if you're using like a multimedia kind of cross-platform kind of painting. Please let me know so that I know sort of what to what to tell you to do and what not to do. Because all of these paintings that you've been sending me kind of look the same. Just wondering. That last bit of shine on the tip of the nose, and then everything else is a climb down from that. So the highest point of the cheeks gets only so much light so that it can create even more depth. And then the eyebrows get a little bit of light right at the top. And then you see, this is what I meant by getting the soft brush and just hovering that soft brush over it. It really creates that that realistic valley of dark that happens. This is nice. So let's take a look at the before and after. Before, after. And this is managed, this three-dimensional pop. This is what happened, that pop. This is managed by preserving your lights, not using them too much, and using them only where you know there is a really, really high point. So does everyone see that? What did I do? If you can summarize what I did in a couple words, what did I do? Can anyone tell me? Is to one level up on 10-step grayscale? I don't get it. I was just gonna ban you, Pet Contreras. Be careful. Oh my god, what a smartass. He basically just wrote a bunch of like letters and he put a link and it looked like he was spamming like the spam bots. What a smartass. I almost banned you, man. Be careful with that. I have like this automatic like trigger. Like if I see that crap, I just ban it. Broughton more yellow. Broughton more high low point. Yes. That's what I did. Push three-dimensionality by highlight and shadows. My mouse was over the bend elevator. Till I saw Istebrak.com. Anyone else have anything? Anything to add about what the technique? Maybe technique talk? About what I did with this image? So before, after. What was the biggest thing that impacted this the most? Or there were two things. It's a very specific thing that I started to introduce. No, not edges. Don't guess. Think. So the two things are, let me tell you what the two things are. The nose highlight and the cast shadow. What did they both hint at? What, can these things only exist when there is a what? Can anyone finish that sentence? Highlights and cast shadows only exist when there is more z-axis and contrast. Good job, MW Works. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. These are units, these are ambassadors of the z-axis. These are the children of the z-corn. These are the, bear with me guys. These are the citizens of Z-World. these are the important stuff. This is what these people speak Zinese. All right. These things create depth. Good job, Flicks. These are the things that create depth. When you cast a shadow in front of another object, this object A, hair, is in front of this object B. It looks like a potato and like another potato. Okay, anyways. Now it looks like a mushroom. Anyways, this object and this object are in front of each other, casting a shadow on each other. That's one big thing about the z-axis, that it can only exist on the z-axis, meaning that this is object, this is object B, and this was object A. The z-axis is that depth and distance. Depth, distance, 3D, call it what you want. This object was in front of this object. And then we have the nose. The nose is bright, so it means that if B was here, and this is the origin of B, it means that it stuck out all the way. This is a nose. This is a very exaggerated nose. And it got some light on it. So this traveled along the z-axis. Do you see this? This is all 3D stuff. These are the two things that made this image pop. Before, you didn't have any of that. You had a very mild rendition of that, which was working, and it was fine. But after that, that's what makes it pop. So ask yourselves, in the paintings you are currently challenging, in the titan that you are currently fighting, that is your painting, in the evil dark depths of the dungeons of Photoshop that you are currently venturing in, where can you apply the z-axis? Where is there an opportunity that object A is in front of object B that calls for a cast shadow? Where is object B's most protruding object on it? Sub-objects that are on object B. Where are those objects sticking out? Are they sticking out so much they need a little bit more light? Maybe. If you guys are drawing a face, well, there's a list. There's the dark spots and the light spots that are just there for you to use. And they are the things that hint at the way the specific, general, consistent, anatomically universal light spots and dark spots on the skeleton that unites all human beings. So it doesn't matter what kind of face you draw, the nose will always be the brightest. If it's if the nose is there on the face, if it's not there, don't draw it. If you're drawing a skeleton, just don't put a bright spot there because it's just not that sticky outy anymore. You've got, and these are the light spots: nose, cheekbone, milk mustache or upper lip, nose, and then forehead. I'm sorry, I'm losing my breath. The forehead, cast shadow. Sorry, heavy breathing, creepy. It's Halloween, it's okay. Did I say cast shadow? The forehead, on switch. This is the on switch pretty much. This is what I say, this is what I mean when I say on switch. But it's upside down. Alrighty, boys and girls. Any questions? Focus this time. I'm sorry. The medicine has gotten to her, guys. Potato mushroom speaking Zinese. What? I know what you thought that diagram looked like. That's why I control Z'd. Oh, control Z. Oh. Because it's Z-axis. Oh. Hey guys, I'm a little late. Hey Mambutu. Hi, I really want to learn to draw like realistic concept art, but I'm a bit unsure where to start. Can you maybe guide me a bit? $444. I can't guide you a bit. I can guide you a lot. And that means that there's a lot to say. I can't give you something small and say that's what you should do. And even if I try that, that small thing will be a small word for a really big concept. I can say learn your forms. I can say do some still life dollars. Do some still lifes. I can say do some anatomy studies. All of these things help you um, draw better because they make you draw more realistically. They teach you about basic observational physics, not observational physics, observed physics in the visual world that you are supposed to capture in your two-dimensional canvas. So dollars, if I can say one thing that can help you draw more realistically so that you can find a place to start. And this is going to sound really poetic and ambiguous and not on the dot, but my channel has a lot of specifics in there, so this is why I'm settling for the general right here. Please go to my channel. I've got a buttload of information there. But all I can say now is paint the z-axis. That's so fucked up. This doesn't even help him. What the hell? Oh man, I'm pathetic. To draw better, dollars, you have to be able to draw the z-axis, which means that you have to draw along some shapes. It means you have to have the cube visible in your mind, and I explain all of this. Something that can really help you, and not the bullshit I just spewed out, is use some still lifes. And if you are currently, if you have an assignment right now, dollar, and someone's hiring you, or you just want to draw something for fun, pick up a reference for whatever it is you're trying to do. Use a reference for hair. Use a reference for the bracelet. Use a reference for the earring. Use a reference for the skin. Use a reference for the head shape, for the eyes, for the nose, for the lips. Do not try to freestyle on your own. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. Use a reference for everything. What did I just tell dollars, everyone? Yeah, Tony, but those are so, this is say think about the cube, think about function and form. What does that really do to help a student who just started out? That's why I'm kind of just like, I can't really tell him to do that. No, I'm not drunk, I don't drink. Use reference for everything. References everywhere. Google.com. Use that. Use reference. Don't freestyle. Study no masterpieces. Yeah, don't make your masterpieces. I mean, don't make your studies masterpieces. So dollar 444. Dollars 444. What did I just say to you? Repeat it. Write it down. Respond to me. What did I just say, dollar? Hone your Google foo. I don't know what you just said. Alright, let's jump on to something else. Alright, so what's everyone saying? Great talent, nice toots, nice jobs, good community, many tanks. Istebrak. You're welcome. Thank you, Paula Williams. So adorable. Dollars. Composition, values, anatomy, perspective is a good way to start. Focus on learning the fundamentals. Then you can draw anything. Dollars asked me a good question though. He said, I really want to draw like you, but as a starter it's a bit hard to picture that. So you say that I should try and copy other people's art too? I say you copy the real world. It's very easy for an early student to pick up the bad habits of another artist. So I don't recommend, for the long run, for the investment of your time, so that the investment of your time does not come with future sabotage. You're not sabotaging yourself. When you copy another artist too closely, you're sabotaging them. You are copying something that has already been copied from something that's already been copied. You need to start from the original source of all knowledge, which is the real world. And that's where you need to try to copy from. Not copy other artists. You can be inspired by other artists. You can like other artists, but don't copy that. Don't have their painting beside you and then say, I'm going to copy this by having their painting beside me. You can have it there to inspire your colors, your form structures. Just don't look at their image for physics. If you want physics, if you want some real cast shadow knowledge and real form structure knowledge, you need to go to the real world. Okay? Annie, so can you tell us how bright you would go in a grayscale piece like this with the lighter areas? Because I think when I do them, mine always look too bright. So a piece like this, you're saying how bright we should go. This person's gone too bright, and they're hitting no man's land. They're like almost there. You should go this bright, which is right here. This is how bright you can go, should go. By the way, sorry about that disconnection, guys. This is how bright you should go. If you're trying to do stylistic crap like me, like I was doing earlier with my sketches, I went this bright and even brighter. I went this bright, but that's stylistic. It's not really student friendly. It's not study environment. I was just experimenting, so please don't use that as me like not listening to my own advice. I do go very, very low value when I'm really serious about creating and sculpting. I don't go this high ever. This is how high I usually want to go. Right here. And this is, if I want to go really, really high, I'd probably just hit this. But this is a safe zone. This is a good bright spot. So where skin is, it's a good area for skin to be bright, not too bright. It's just generally very good. So what was I going to say about this painting? This painting here, I kind of don't like it when you guys add too much shadow on either side of the face, on either side of the nose. Let me explain why. The nose has multiple angles to it. Please everyone pay attention. No chit chat. So this angle here is a little bit more sharp than the angle here, which is a little bit more obtuse. And then the angle gets even more obtuse the lower you go on the nose. So this means that the margin for light to access this side of this 3D structure, because this nose is from this side, basically looks like this. So the light kind of just looks like this actually. Let me undo that. The light travels along like this, where the angle is getting more obtuse. So this area the light can access. This area the light cannot access. This is why y'all don't put shadows over here because you're telling a different story when you do that. You're saying that the potential, this skin texture has to go dark is the same on this side and this side when it comes to the edge work. That's not possible. It means her nose is have you ever seen a bad nose job when they use the actual that they actually get that plastic shit they put under the nose and it's like fake cartilage and basically reshapes the nose and adds more bridge to it? They do it a lot with Asian noses. They add more altitude to the bridge instead of being so flat. Well, that's what basically you're doing. You're just bringing in a fake, like you're drawing a fake cube. Like you're drawing like a rectangle size type nose. That's what you're telling me. You gotta not do that. The angle allows more access to the light, meaning that this area isn't as dark as this area. What did I just say? Everyone write it back to me, because I have to know you guys are paying attention. Keep cutting. Did you answer the question where you did? Where you learned your stuff, Istebrak? Oh, you asked me where I learned everything? I honestly don't know. I think a lot, and I like to teach, so I think out loud, and I guess as I teach, I think at the same time, and so it seems like I know a lot, but it's really just me discovering it at the same time that I teach it to you. I cannot say I know a lot. I have a lot of self-doubt, and I'm not that knowledgeable. So I think you're confusing my will to talk a lot and my desire to, and my love for my own voice, for knowledge, for excessive knowledge. I do know some stuff because I didn't go to school, so a lot of the stuff I had to learn on my own, so I know some techniques that might help you. And I know I can talk to a student and the student can be comfortable because I was once a student that had to learn everything in the harder way, so I know how to think like a student still. I am still a student, And I guess that's why, again, you see me as knowledgeable, where it's just me explaining something that's very, very basic in a way that you understand it. All right, so don't shadows where light hit, and picture the things where the lights would hit and react to it. Arg. Don't do nose job, and the nose aren't a rectangle, so don't shade that much on the side. Good, Pixie Wolf. Noses aren't rectangular. She had a bad nose job. Y'all don't put shadows there. Don't draw a bad nose job. Remind me to bookmark the YouTube video at this point. Alright? And right here you have an outline. You don't need that. Get rid of that. You don't need that anymore. Certain noses have that because of discoloration and in the skin. But again, get rid of that. Replace it with some highlights. Yummy, yummy highlights that don't need any lines. They'll work just fine. And this area is still very, very friendly. It still conforms to the light. It's still creating lots of contours that we're sculpting. So the nose feels much more natural. Let me just, it's still on an edge because it's quite a large nose. Let me just carry some shades here. So the nose here, oh, it still needs some shadows under it. I don't know what reference you used, but it was probably really, really bad lighting. It's confused you in a lot of areas. But before, after. Do you see what that does, you guys? Before, this is the evil line coming back to haunt you. Okay? Does everybody hear me? Did I get disconnected or something? There are no shadows in between the eyes. Yeah, there's none of this. We need some of that. I'm not choosing the right color, sorry man. Let me get one. Oopsie, color. There we go. Okay. She looks like a space Pocahontas. Before, after. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.